I'm Kelly, and I've been an esthetician for over 25 years. And Corrective Skin was built from decades in the treatment room. These conversations are just me sharing what I've learned about skin ingredients and what actually works, especially living in the desert. Most skincare works on the surface. We focus on the skin's communication and repair system. So today we're going to talk about applying your products and some tips and tricks in terms of how to apply them and what order to put your products on. Those are just common questions that we tend to get from people online and in our DMs. So let's go over that. So emulsify. People are often like, what do you mean by emulsify? Emulsify is something we have you do with our cleanser, our exfoliant, the vitamin C, and the EGF. The only one we don't have you do that with is the glycolic, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So with all these other products, you're going to put about the same size, around a dime size amount in the palm of your hand. And emulsify means you take both palms of your hands together and move them together to warm them up. You know, as an esthetician, this is something we do before we touch somebody's face. And so it's definitely how I put on my own product as well. And the reason for that is that it does break down the product just enough so that it can apply more evenly to the skin. Your product actually lasts a little bit longer, goes a little bit further when you do so. So I will say this, when it comes to the cleanser and the scrub, add a tiny bit of water. It helps that just go over the face and the skin better, and then rinse it off. And you're going to, when it comes to the cleanser and the scrub, you'll gently cleanse the skin in circular motion and let the product do the work. Rinse off with water. Just make sure you rinse everything off before going to the next step. And then when you're emulsifying the vitamin C, you can put it on full face. I highly recommend getting under the eyes, but not too close. Some people can be a little sensitive to vitamin C, but you can get pretty close to under the eyes, and then bring it down all over the face, onto the neck, the chest, and anything that you can put on your hands too. Do that as well. The EGF is probably the easiest to apply this way because it is a cream, but they all spread really nicely this way. But the EGF, you have it in that airless jar that pumps, so you're going to just pump it for an application, and then emulsify. Again, palms together, put that in the palm of your hands and apply that nice and evenly full face, down the neck, chest, hands. So with the glycolic, that is a solution, and I don't want you to emulsify that one in your hands. With that one, you're going to take a flat cotton pad, not a cotton ball. Those get too saturated, and tissue, it would just go right through those. And on your hands, it will make your hands peel, or you just won't get a good application onto your skin, on your face. So you'll take the glycolic, tip it a couple times onto that flat pad, and then apply it evenly all over your face, even on the brow bone, right under the eye where we get texture as we age, and then just nice and even application with that flat pad, full face, not scrubbing too hard, but just a nice even application, full face, down the neck, onto the chest, again, back of hands. So that is what I mean by emulsify the product, okay? And then that's also how you apply the glycolic. In terms of order, let's talk about that. So if you are using just Corrective Skin products, it's pretty easy. We do make sure that all of your orders come with a little booklet that tells you how, and we do have tutorial videos on the website. But just as a reminder, if you want to double cleanse in the morning, please do, or just use the scrub, then you would do the vitamin C serum. And then even though it's not in your bundle, you would want to find a sunblock that you like to wear, that you found is clean, and you would put that on after your vitamin C serum in the morning. At night, you would do your cleanser, the cranberry cleanser. Then you would put on your glycolic acid with the flat pad, and then your EGF every night. And if that's all you're using, pretty simple. If you're trying to incorporate other products with this, I can tell you how to do that as well. So if you use any other serums in the day, let's start with AM. Serums are always going to go before moisturizers, right? So you kind of want to go like lightest to heaviest. So after you cleanse, if you have like a hyaluronic acid serum or any other type of serum that you want to use with the vitamin C, that is fine. I just wouldn't use a serum in the day that has like alpha hydroxy acids or retinols or anything like that in there. That shouldn't be used with the vitamin C in the morning, but hyaluronic acid would be great. I know some people like to use oils, and that would go after the serum. So use your serums, and then if you have any oils, you could do that. And then moisturizer or sunblock would go last. And then for nighttime, if you're using a retinol product, whether it's a retinol like a derivative, like a retinaldehyde, you would do that in alternation with the glycolic acid. You don't want to use them together at the same time on the same night. And so at nighttime, you would basically cleanse, and then one night you would do your glycolic on the flat pad and then your EGF. And if you have an eye cream, do that as well, or different neck creams or something, use that too. If you're doing an oil at night, that's fine, but know that it can slow down your glycolic a little bit in terms of how quickly it will turn your skin over. And then that would go on over glycolic and before the EGF. If you're doing a retinol product, you would cleanse, do the retinol product, and then do the EGF. Again, if you're doing an oil, that's going to go before the nighttime EGF. And then if you have an eye cream, put that on, or any other neck creams or anything like that. You don't really need anything else when you're using EGF, but just so you know, in case you have a bunch of products you want to use, that's how you would coordinate those all together in the same system. Yeah, so in terms of if I've never used actives before and then I'm starting to use these actives, if you're just using the Corrective Skin bundle, that's the perfect amount of actives to start with. You have your day, you have your night, you have one and one, right? And then the EGF is a healing product with actives in it. So that actually helps bolster those actives in the vitamin C and the glycolic so that you don't have any adverse side effects like too much dryness or anything like that. But if you're, also incorporating other actives, you can give yourself a couple of days in between each one. So like if you have never used retinol before and you're going to start that and you've been using the glycolic and the vitamin C, I would say, that's fine. Maybe take a couple of days off the glycolic, add in the retinol, see how you do with the retinol for a couple of days, then start alternating both of them if the one seemed okay with your skin. And, everyone, not always, but I would say a lot of people tend to know what their skin can handle, or maybe it's like a certain time of year. Like most of us do have drier skin in the winter. And so winter may not be the best time to throw a bunch of actives at your skin, right? Give your skin a little bit of a break. And I also feel like too, that's a good idea sometimes, is giving your skin a little bit of a reset during the middle of the week, especially in the winter months when the skin is drier. So if you're using your actives morning and night and you're doing that consistently every day, give yourself like a night once a week where you're just doing reparative products like the growth factor cream in our product line, like the EGF cream, or some oils under it, and just let your skin have a night to just kind of reset. Skincare doesn't need to be overwhelming. My goal is to help you feel confident, informed, and supported in your routine. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next Corrective Conversation.